Alright, this video will be for my engineering design class. We are going to specifically focus on the mounting plate. This will be the step-by-step video directions on getting that mounting plate completed. In this case, looking at what we're doing, I got my mounting plate, I got the PDF cover page, and the mounting plate PDF file for all the dimensions we need. I've already opened those up, so what we're looking at here is the cover page, and so it looks like what we're being asked to do today is we're going to create the following part, and we're going to create these three coordinate systems, and then take the center of mass, or center of mass for each of those coordinate systems at point 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we're actually going to be able to go in and add these coordinate systems. Now, my plan is, in this case, to go ahead and start with a circle on this back wall, just a small circle, and creating this complete outside shape. Once I do that, I'm just going to extrude it out, and then I'm going to go ahead and create an offset here, and create an offset of this circle, and I'm going to cut this part out by finishing. We'll add in these pieces here. Okay, it'll make sense once we get going. I'm going to create this on the front plane, so I'm going to go ahead and look at the mounting plate drawing to get a feel for what I'm looking at. This is what the drawing looks like, so I'm going to focus on this front plane right here and create this outline with that circle and this circle in place. I'm actually going to end up drawing all these holes since they all go through all. I'll try to get them all done in one shot. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my SOLIDWORKS. This is an inch part, so I'm going to go here on my inch part. I'm going to go ahead and start on the SOLIDWORKS with a File, New. Should be on this screen. I'm going to start with inches and say OK. And I'm going to start with a front plane and a new sketch. Now the first thing I'm going to do is put that circle on here. So I'm going to label a circle about here, another one somewhere over here, and then there's going to be four little ones approximately right in this area here. Okay, and I'll get this all labeled out. So it looks a little odd because I got all these circles out in the middle of nowhere. Now what I'm going to do here real quick is I'm going to go ahead and pull over this mounting plate to my other screen so I can see what's going on. I can kind of work between these two. So now I'm going to go here to my SOLIDWORKS drawing back, and at this point I'm going to go ahead and do a few little dimensions here to kind of get these in place by starting with this inside hole right here at 0.38. This hole right here will be 0.5. This will be 2.5 between the two of these, so I'm going to move that back. And it will be, we'll leave it right there for right now. I'll continue on with these ones here. Actually, what I'll do is go ahead and start adding in the other lines. So I'm going to use my line tool. I'm going to start somewhere down below the part here and come out to my right. I'm going to draw straight up. I'm going to pull away and hit an arc. I'll keep the arc relatively flat. I'm going to pull away, come back and hit again and do a longer arc somewhere on this direction. Pull away, come back and create an arc, an arc all the way over to here. Okay, now it looks odd because one of the things I should always do between an arc and a line is make sure I have tangent relationship. So using my control key, I'm going to come in here, click on that arc and this line right here and make a tangent relationship. Make sure I have one here. I do. I should have one right there. I do. And I'll click on this. I see a tangent there. So everything I need is right there. Now, from here, I'm going to go ahead and get a couple things dimensioned out. So first of all, I'm going to add a relationship between this circle down here and this arc right here. I'm going to add a relationship of concentric. They do share the same center. Okay, this one here is going to have a radius of 1 inch. Okay, and again, I'm getting that from that front view drawing. This arc here will have a radius of 7 inches. This one will have a radius of 1.25. The length between this circle and its very front edge right here is going to be 5.5. The distance between this circle and this front edge will be 2.75. So it's dead center. Now the trick here is there's a dimension to this center mark of this arc, and that dimension is going to be 3.5 inches. So from the very bottom to that center mark will be 3.5. Okay, now you'll notice all this is black. That's perfect. It's just what we wanted here. Oops, wait, I messed up. I got to take one thing back. This 2.5 is incorrect. I was not watching my thing very well. The 2.5 should be from this bottom edge. I was an inch too far off. Okay, so I'm just going to make some small adjustments so you can see all this, see these numbers, bring it a little bit tighter. Okay, that way I can kind of get this looking a little bit more so you can see it. Okay, now these circles right here, I'm going to go ahead and get these kind of dimensioned into place. I do know the dimension from this bottom circle to here is going to be 1.5 inches. And then from this circle to the bottom will be 3 inches. I'm going to take the 3.5 and move it outside. So there are my primary dimensions. I'm going to go ahead and dimension this first circle here at 0.25. I'm then going to hit escape, hold my control key, and highlight all 4 of my circles and make them all equal. I'm then going to use my control key again to make these 2 upper circles horizontal to each other, these 2 lower circles horizontal to each other, and then I'm going to make the circles to the right vertical to each other, and the circles to the left vertical to each other. Now, the last part of this is the dimension. If you look at the dimension of the front view, you'll see that this has been a distance of 0.25. And you notice those went black. That's good. And then from this circle to this edge here will be 0.75. Now again, I'm putting my dimensions somewhat in the same spots as you see in the drawing that has been posted. Okay, so now at this point I've got all this fully defined. Everything's in black. So now what I'm going to do is go to my features and extrude. And I'm going to go ahead and extrude this case because I don't really care where my origins are, I guess. However, to save myself a little bit of heartache, I'm going to actually go forward because I'm going to actually use this default origin as my center of mass for coordinate system number 1. So I'm going to actually come out the screen 1 inch and hit my check mark. Now I'm going to go ahead and change my material right here. The material on this is going to be a 1060 aluminum alloy. So under balsa, I'll do right click and edit material. I'm going to go to an aluminum alloys and I'm going to do the 1060 alloy at the top. I'm going to apply and close. Now I'm going to do a quick control save. Okay, in this case I'm going to go to my desktop. I'm going to call this mounting plate underscore my last name and hit save. Now what I want to do next is I'm going to go ahead to this front face here and I'm going to go ahead and start cutting this off. So I'm going to highlight my front face, start a new sketch, and I'm going to start using my offset tool. Okay, and then I'll build the rest of this so I get the proper pocket cut. Okay, so we got to remember that offset tool. We used it a lot last year in CAD. Excuse me. So now what I'm going to do is go here and highlight the face. I'm going to start a new sketch. Oops, sorry. That's not what I wanted to do. Highlight this face and start a new sketch. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do an offset entities. I'm going to go ahead and offset a distance of 0.28. But I'm going to reverse my direction. And I will do a spacebar normal too so you can see this. Control Z. I got a spacebar control first. Sorry. Offset, reverse. Excuse me, something in my throat. Alright, now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and draw a secondary circle. That circle will be attached to this right here. Okay, so it's going to be, in this case, if you shrink it down a little bit, I'm going to add a relationship between the circle and this edge of co-radial. Okay, and then I'm going to turn on my trim tool real quick. And what I'm going to trim off is this interior piece, that interior piece, here, here, so that I have that there. I am not going to round these edges here until I get to my feature fillet. It'll be one of the last things I do. So do not round these off. Okay, I don't want you to lose relationships. Now I'm going to turn my line tool. And somewhere up in this range, I'm going to draw a line out, down, over, down. Okay, and then I'm going to turn on my trim tool again and trim off this excess right here. I'm also going to go ahead and add a secondary circle right here that I'm going to dimension to 0.88. Now, I need to get this all dimensioned. And the way I'm going to dimension that is I'm going to go ahead here. This is going to be 1 inch. Now, the way I get that is that you had a 0.25 to here, a 0.75 to here, okay, which tells you there's a 0.5 distance between. So we're in increments of 0.25, okay, 0.2 basically here, and then 0.25 to the outside. So it should be 1 inch. All right, the height of this box is going to be 3.25, because again, it's going to be 0.25 all the way around. The height of this box right here is going to be, oops, let me go from here to here. It's going to be 0.28 plus 0.69 plus 0.28. It's going to be the same space all the way around that little rectangular shape there, that pocket cut. That should be giving me 1 point. Let me do that again. 0.28 plus 0.69 plus 0.28 is 1.25. And then this distance from here over is going to be 1.5 to here. So at this point, I have everything I need. Now what I need to do is cut this in, this pocket right here, 0.75. So I'm going to go in here to extrude emboss base. I'm cutting it into the part, a distance of 0.75, enter. I'm going to hit my check mark. So now there is that pocket cut. Now before I add my fillets, as I'm almost done here, I'm going to make a couple quick cuts. I'm going to go to this face, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out of here this little rectangle piece right here and this pocket here. They both are 0.25 cuts. So I'm going to draw both of these, cut them in, and then we'll add our fillets at the very end. Okay, so now going back, pull this back over. I'm going to do a space bar normal to. Oops. I'm going to start a sketch, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my corner rectangle tool, and I'm just going to draw a rectangle somewhere in there, except for I need to attach it to the edge. And I'm going to draw a second rectangle somewhere down in here. Okay, sorry, hit the wrong button. Escape. Turn on my dimension tool. The top of this box from the bottom is at 2.75 inches. The bottom to this line here is going to be 1.75 inches. So now that's fully defined. Then I'm going to do this box right here where the distance from this bottom here is going to be 0.28 inches. This side of this rectangle is going to be 0.69 inches. From this side to here will also be 0.28 inches. And then from this side here all the way over is going to be 1.22 inches. This has been a very common error. I get kids that measure the whole thing as 1.22. The measurement is from the edge to the back line. So now you see everything's fully defined. Now I'm just going to go to Features, Extruded Cut, 0.25, enter, and hit my check mark. Now I've done a couple steps. I probably should do a Control Save just to make sure I don't lose anything. So the final step here is to add in all my fillets. Okay, there's a note to this right here. A lot of kids are missing this. This says all rounds and fillets are 0.19. So that is what our fillet will be for everything. So Features, Fillet, 0.19. And now what I'm going to do is just go in here and hit this face. And then I'm going to come in here and hit each one of these little creases. Go to the other side. And then I need the 4 inside corners here, 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 and here. and I hit my check mark. Now I'll add color. You don't have to do this, but I'll go ahead and add color for this just so you can see these fillets a little bit better. I'm going to hit the little beach ball, go to fillet. I'll change it to a nice bright red, and check. Okay, I'm going to put this in what's called a trimetric view so you can see the fillets a little bit better. And so there is your finished product. So I'm going to do a control save. Okay. Now, we're not done quite yet. I need to now add in my 3 center or coordinate systems. Okay, so I need to add 3 coordinate systems. So I'm going to show you how to add these in. All I want to remember on these is that my X is going to my right hand side, my Y is going vertically straight up, my Z is coming out of the paper. So as I click and set these things up, I need to make sure my coordinate systems are aligned the same way, otherwise everything will be backwards. Alright, so going into my SOLIDWORKS, I'm going to go under my Features toolbar, Reference Geometry, Coordinate System. Okay, now the first coordinate system I'm going to pick is going to be that back thing there, the back origin. Again, what I'm looking for is the X is in the right, or is going towards the right, which is red. Y is green and going up. Z is blue and coming out towards my screen. Okay, that tells me I'm oriented correctly. And so now I can just hit my check mark, and I now have coordinate system 1. Now, to see your coordinate systems, so they're always on, if you go up here to this magic eye at the top of the screen and drop that down, you will see right here, View Coordinate Systems, and check it on. Okay, and when you do that, now you can see the coordinate system showing up on your screen. Now I'm going to put in coordinate system number 2. Coordinate system number 2 is in this bottom right-hand corner. So I'm going to go ahead there, go back to SOLIDWORKS, go into Features, Reference Geometry, Coordinate System. I'm going to pick this bottom corner. Now again, red should be to my right, green should be going up, blue should be coming out towards me. I hit my check mark. There's coordinate system number 2. The last one is under Features, Reference Geometry, Coordinate System. I'm going to put it right here in this corner. X is going to the right, Y is going up, Z is coming out. That is perfect. Check mark. Okay, so there's my coordinate systems 1, 2, and 3. Alright, now, the kicker is when you do your mass properties, you have to tell the computer which coordinate system you would like to use to figure out your center of mass. So that means when I go to my evaluate and I go to my mass properties, I've got to be careful that I get the right numbers, because right now the default is what it's looking for. Default was the original origin. I need to drop this to coordinate system number 1, then to coordinate system number 2, and finally to coordinate system number 3. Okay? Each one of those answers needs to be submitted in to, okay? So when you go in to enter this in, you're going to come in to your class here, and back under your materials, so now I'll just go to cohort A, class materials, you'll see under your week 4 the assessment. Okay, now I'm going to see it from my view, so I'll do a preview for you because you see the scores there. You'll start a new attempt. You are going to enter in the overall mass of the mounting plate in its 2 decimal places. You're going to do what is the center of mass for coordinate system 1 and put the X, Y, and Z in there. Coordinate system number 2, X, Y, and Z. Coordinate system number 3, X, Y, and Z. Okay, the last 2 problems are for the tool post, which I will do in a subsequent video here in a moment. Okay, when you're done with that, you'll submit, and then you're going to need to go ahead and create the drawing for this part. Okay, so in this case, we're just going to do a file new. I'm going to put this on a GHSA inch, say OK, and at this point what we're going to do is just double click, start with the front view, preview, hidden lines on, scale 1 to 2. I'm going to put a front view, a top view, a right side view, and an isometric view. I'm going to hit my check mark. Okay, now if you recall, in this one, going back into our drawings here, so I'm going to go back into the class, Core A, week 4, come back to here because I actually closed that out accidentally. Go back into my mounting plate drawing and open that up. We are going to slice this down this holes right here to get the section view. So going back into SolidWorks, I'm going to go in here, turn on my view or drawing, section view, and I'm going to do a vertical cutting line that locks on to the second set of circles. And I'm going to hit the green check mark and pull to my right. And just like that, you have all of your dimensions. Okay, I'm going to add color to the upper one here. I'm going to draw over these so I can see all the extra lines are off. I'm going to do the same in here. I'm going to verify only the ones with holes. So this one I'm going to get rid of. Go through here, get rid of that one, this one, and this one. And then same here, get rid of that one there. That's a hole, that's a hole, that's a hole, and that's a hole. Okay. I'm also going to go in here and turn on my view, or excuse me, annotations, center mark. I'm going to take my document defaults off and my extended lines off. I'm going to start clicking on each of these corners, like so, to get all my arcs with center lines. Okay, and I'm going to come down here and hit this 4 corners, one here, 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 and here. Okay, and at that point I have all my center marks on here, so I'll hit my check mark. And then I'll go through and start adding in my dimensions. Okay, the dimensions are pretty straightforward. Honestly, if you've done this right, one of the ones you can use is your model items. Instead of importing into all views, I'm going to do import into entire model. Destination views, I'm just going to delete that, clear that out, import items into all views. And I'm going to go ahead and hit my check mark. Okay, now it's going to look a little ugly. It's okay. I'm just going to adjust things as I need to. I'm going to kind of pull this. This will come off there because I'm just going to type a note. But as you can see, I'm going to have to pull some of these a little bit tighter, like the 0.25. Now here's the other thing. You'll notice in the drawing that we have here, these are all 2 decimal places. If you look at my drawing now, I have 3. To change that, all I'm going to do is go to this bottom corner where it says IPS, go up here and say Edit Document Units. And I'm going to go here and drop it from 0.123 to 0.12, and it'll change all of these decimal places to 2 decimals. So I'm going to do it in one shot. Okay, so my 0.25 is here, 0.75 here, the 1.0 is not there because we take that one off. 1.25 I'll keep right there. 0.75, that's fine right there. Okay, the 0.25, now in this case I'm going to have to do a lot of changing here. So some of these numbers, like the 5.5 is good, but like the 3.5 for some reason went towards the other view. So I'm going to go ahead and delete these ones off. I'll have to bring them back on. But then again, this is stuff you can do relatively quickly because we've done plenty of drawings. So you can see all these ones here are kind of messed up, so I'm going to go ahead and move those off. Looking at the drawing again, I'm going to keep this 0.25 here, but this 1.00 should be up here. Okay, this 0.25 I'm going to get rid of, get rid of, get rid of, and get rid of. Okay, this R7 I'm going to bring back in and bring it up. I'm going to slide this model up a little bit. This 0.28 looks good right there. 1.22 looks good right there. I'll flip those arrows to the inside. 1.5. I'm just tightening things up so I can get all my dimensions up and on the paper. Okay, and then I'm going to continue adding in more dimensions until it's fully defined. I'll slide this over a little bit more. And then if you want at the end, I'm going to simply take and add in this note by highlighting and copying, Control C, go to my drawing now, come up at the top and go with my note tool, left click and do a Control V. Okay, now these are all at font size 12. all left justified, and check outside and hit escape. Okay, so this will sit up in this corner like so. Okay, in that case, I think we're pretty good. You continue on, you'll add your title there on this part. Truthfully, you probably can shrink some of this stuff a little bit tighter. Bring this up, bring this up, bring this up, and then that will allow you to move this down just a little bit to give you some space. So then again, I can add in some other dimensions. There's my 0.5. That's one there. I think I have another one somewhere else, and so forth, okay? I do, so I'm going to go here and add the 1. Kind of pull that out here, flip that arrowhead, and so forth, okay? Click on the dot. Come on. Okay. There we go. Don't know why that would want to move. But then you're just going to finish everything up. Add in your title. Add in your title block. This will be labeled as 1 of 1, but this is going to be mounting plate, your name, date, scale 1 to 2, and period 4A. Okay, as far as I'm going to take this, the rest of this should be self-explanatory since you've done plenty of these in the last year. Good luck. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to email me, and I'll see you in the next class.